Sunday, everybody. We are back with another Sunday service episode with Faceman and Meg, or Meg and Dave, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Doesn't really matter. And today we are going to be talking about
just friendships, same-sex friendships, opposite-sex friendships,
opposite sex friendships while in a relationship.
or just in general.
Just in general?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of a hot topic, I think, for a lot of people. And we're just going to talk about like navigating through it maybe, or our opinions on if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing. I guess I'll just kickstart it.
Yeah.
And I'll kickstart it with opposite sex friendships while in a relationship. I'm a little opposed. I think in today's workforce, as a woman or a man, you're interacting with other men or other women. And I think those relationships are obviously fine. Like if it's a friendship, you see each other every day at work and everything. But I think where it becomes a little tricky is, like if you're wanting to start to like hang out, with that other person outside of the work space. I think that's a little.
What would you consider outside of the workspace? Like going to lunch together?
No, I think lunch is good. I think lunch is fine. I'm saying like making extra time to then go hang out with that individual, to become more intimate, because intimacy isn't just sex. Intimacy is, being vulnerable with that other person, loving, caring for that other person if it's a legit relationship. And then I feel like when you're in situations like that, stuff can get a little tricky. Now, again, I'm not a professional in this. This is just my personal opinion. You see, I'm wearing a Care Bear shirt. Fuck around and find out for all you dudes trying to hang out with my woman. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I don't know. I mean, what's your take on this?
I obviously have them.
Oh, yeah, but I don't feel like you have them. Like, I guess there's levels to it. Like you just said, if you're going to lunch, like, cool, you're having lunch. I think it becomes a bigger issue if you then start taking time, and I don't consider lunch. I still feel like that's a workspace. I mean, your business partner is a male, it's not like you are making time to go hang out with him on a Saturday to go to a bar because he's your close friend.
Correct.
I mean, you are texting a lot, but that's work related stuff. When he calls you, like most of the times I'm in the same room, and it's like, I think that's more of a work relationship. But again, like I just want to make it clear that in my opinion, an intimate relationship is not always sex. Intimacy can also be, love, caring. And then the minute you are talking with that other individual about things that you're not sharing with your current partner, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Then you are automatically already doing shit that's fucked up.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think you can have intimate platonic relationships.
It has to be platonic. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying like not even opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
Like I share very intimate things with some girlfriends. I share very intimate things with my mom. That's not sharing intimate things isn't necessarily crossing the line, in my opinion. It's when you're sharing intimate things, like you said, that you're not sharing with your partner, or you don't feel comfortable sharing with your partner, or maybe you're coloring it very differently than how you share it with your partner, or casting your partner in a poor light towards that person. Things like that. It's obviously, I'm not going to say what's appropriate, what's not, because everyone has their own boundaries. But for me, I guess I would just ask, why is that a necessity for you with that person?
What do you mean?
So, for example, if I were talking to somebody and I was like, me and David, like, obviously, that's the thing. We don't like talk about our fights and stuff to people.
Yeah, that.
But if I was sitting there like, to a guy friend, if I was like, David is blah, 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 he's pissing me off today, and, whatever, XYZ, what would be the motivation for me to go to somebody, anybody, girl or guy? What would be my motivation to speak that way about you to other people? Obviously, if attention and
acceptance, if it's like
validation,
what
most people. And I feel like, as a woman, I can't speak from the male side of house. As a woman, sometimes I feel that we struggle to feel validated, or understood or heard.
Mm-hmm.
This is very general and very stereotype, right? But you hear all the time, like stay-at-home moms, they're like, I've told him a million times I need this, or I'm feeling this way, or whatever, and he just doesn't listen, or, nothing that I can say or do changes our dynamic.
Right.
And I don't know if it is like generational culturally with women. And like, we've come from the times where we literally were just basically told to look pretty, have babies, say please, thank you, curtsy, do whatever, when we were around our husband's work friends, or we had a very strict code of conduct to adhere to way back when. I'm talking like way before the 50s, right? So I don't know if generationally we just still have some of that lingering where we just feel, because we've been taught that men don't listen, this or that or whatever. So we just have these encompassing feelings of not being understood or heard or validated, when realistically, we are the only ones who can validate ourselves, and we are the only ones responsible for our own feelings. And when we accept all of this behavior, that's a whole different conversation. But when you keep accepting that behavior, you're really just doing it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
But I think sometimes women, getting back on track, I think sometimes women seek validation from men, or just, let's just say, because, you're not straight or whatever, they seek validation from the people and the gender that they're attracted to, because they're not getting that from their partner. And that's a massive red flag.
100%. Yeah. And I think you veered a little bit off topic, and I agree with you on all of that. I just, I think it would just have to be a set of rules that were in place, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, because you did bring up a good point too, like male or female. Like if I'm going to my male friends and just like talking about the problems that you and I are going through, like to each its own, but I personally wouldn't sit there and share conversations about our sex life or intimate life or anything that's really tied to
that's
both.
where women and men are different.
That's where women are completely different, because that's where like women
are savage. We're like,
you girls are savage when it comes to that stuff. And it's
let's be clear, talking about our sex lives with our partners.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, all your girlfriends like me and they think you're going to marry me. Well, you are going to marry me. So I guess something's going right,
Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, so that's a whole separate thing.
It shouldn't, though. It shouldn't be talked about, though. It's nobody's business.
Well, you can't say what should or shouldn't be talked about for what other people are comfortable with. You're not comfortable with that.
Yeah, you can't set a set of rules that this is how it is, and this is what should be kept in our house, and this is what should be. You're right. That's a very valid point. Like, who sets the fucking rules for that? However, if it makes your partner uncomfortable, then sometimes we just don't do those things. Yes, we all have choices in life. We can all do what we want. It shouldn't affect the other person, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes like I personally don't have any female friends that I like hang out with, or business partners. I mean, I have people in the workspace that are females, soldiers. They're just soldiers. That's how we're taught in the army, female or male. But like, I would never, just in general, never create a relationship like that. I don't look for it. And like you said, you were talking about that validation. that's a really good point, I'm not saying that you do that, but that other women seek that. Like for me, it's just not in question. Like I don't require that.
So I think it really does boil down to the comfort level and the security level of your partner. Because, for example, obviously we're not out there seeking like, oh man, I just need another guy friend. Like I don't have enough guy friends. And you're like, I don't have enough girlfriends. We're not out there seeking it out. Right. But I had very close guy friends before I met you. And just because I met you, I'm not going to be like, well, can't be your friend anymore.
Right.
And vice versa. And then also a lot of situations that you come into is like when you're TDY, there are female soldiers, right? You're going to be after whatever briefs or whatever you're doing. There's going to be times when you're at a bar and there's another female soldier there and you guys are talking, and that's like, whatever. It's not necessarily that you're out there seeking out friendships, but knowing the comfort level of the other person and just being secure in yourself and secure in your relationship to where that doesn't really bother you.
So okay, let me cut you off. So is that, you think it's a sign of jealousy, or is it a sign of emotional intelligence, just knowing that, that can go in a bad direction?
I think,
because a lot of people want to say, and that real quick, baby, a lot of people want to say that it's, oh, he's just jealous and stuff. Maybe he's the exact opposite, and he's actually emotionally intelligent, knowing that, that could end up badly. Because guess what? I'm a man too, and I know, like, when men and women have a conversation with each other, women flirt different than men. Mm-hmm. That is a proven thing. So when a woman is actually just being nice and being happy, that man could perceive that as flirting.
Mm-hmm. That's not my responsibility.
Right. It's not your responsibility. But then again, situations can be created. So when everybody wants to say, oh, that man is just jealous because he doesn't want his wife or significant other to have male friends, it could just be emotional intelligence as well, knowing that that can go down the wrong path.
So the way I look at it is, me personally, I am not, me, I'm not, like, maybe to a fault, excessively not jealous.
Yeah.
So if you're out TDY,
out at the bar,
there's other female soldiers or even other girls come up and talk to you, I'm like, cool, have fun, I'm going to bed. Like, I don't.
You also know who I'm coming home to.
Correct.
And I'm like that with you too.
But here's, I think, the bigger bottom line. Not only do I know you're coming home, because guess what? You might not, and it might have nothing to do with that. You could die in a car crash on the way home, like, whatever. You might not come home. Nothing in life is guaranteed, but I am secure enough in myself to know that regardless of the outcome, I will breathe and I will be okay. Mm-hmm. I'm still going to move forward with my life. Regardless of anything, I'm going to thrive. I'm going to be happy. I am secure in myself and who I am and my job and how I'm going to proceed with life. Again, if it was like a death situation, I'm not saying that wouldn't suck and there wouldn't be years and years of grieving, but I'm saying I will be
trying to get rid of me. Once that TRICARE, healthcare, and then the insurance policy.
No, but I'm saying I'm okay with myself.
Right.
If you choose to, like, screw this up, and do something stupid, like, it would suck, but I'm not going to live my life being jealous and afraid that could maybe happen one day. I'm just going to live my life. But that's just
living in fear.
Right. But I'm just going to live my life and be the best partner and lover and wife that I know how to be. And when that is, and we might go through hard times, we might go through great times, whatever.
We never go through hard times.
But I also know that whatever your decision is your responsibility, regardless of what we're going through. Your life choices are your responsibility, and I will be okay regardless.
Of course.
So I'm not going to stay up worrying or create fights around my insecurities, right? But like the emotional intelligence, I'm also not stupid.
Yeah.
So if I notice that a girl, I'm like, I know how girls work.
And I know how men work,
right? And I will bring that to your attention. And while I don't expect you to change your personality and how you communicate with people, I do expect you to be aware and to respect that I noticed that, and respect that I have intuition into that, and just keep your eyes open.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really happen to me that often. People slide me your DMs constantly. And then you're like, no, I know him from the past. He's a really good dude. He probably just wants to, do some business. And then we play that little game. I'm like right there with you. And I'm like, watch this. Watch where this is going to go. And you keep it cool the whole time. You're like, business. And then suddenly it's like, oh, we should maybe catch a drink. Or, oh, I love talking to you. Our personalities are great together. Bro, you've been talking to her for like 5 minutes. And I already know this is where it's going. And there's been times where you're like, no, it's cool. Everything's good. And then you're like, well, fuck, block.
And it's
like, God, men are savage, bro. Like, you guys are on one. Like, when I look at my single days, whatever, and I see that, because obviously she's got pictures of me on social media and everything. We're in a relationship. It says it on there, in a relationship, posted wedding pictures, all that. If I'm looking at pictures of an attractive woman and I see one or when I saw one and I saw that she was with another, there's just like no intention for me whatsoever. Like I don't try to slide this. Like some of you men are just savage. Like sometimes I'm like, I kind of want to call you out. Like that woman that's in that picture with those kids, that's your wife. Yet you're trying to be cute with her. Like what the fuck, man? That's just nasty.
I usually just DM the wife.
And you have done that. You have done that a couple times.
You know, your husband's kind of a sleaze.
Yeah, and you have done that a couple times, but you get DM'd way more than I do because men are just way more aggressive.
And in my defense, every single time that you've been like, hey, he's flirting with you. And I'm like, no, he wants to buy a house. And then he was actually flirting with me. Even though I thought differently, I still respected what you said and kept my eyes open for it. And I was like,
there's been a couple times that you gave like a referral to somebody on your team, they never ended up buying a house.
Oh yeah. I'm like, he's like, please don't go show them houses. And I'm like calling my business partner. I'm like, hey, you want to take this client? So I tell my person like,
he's pre-qualified already. He's ready to rock and roll.
He's gonna take care of you.
Crickets, nothing. You know, so men, don't be savage with that stuff.
Yeah.
But again, I think we're on the same sheet of music. And to, you know, bring it back to what we were talking about, I think friendships are fine. I think friendships in the workspace are fine. I think when it, you know, starts toting that line and it becomes more, and then, like I said earlier, you start sharing information with that individual, what, you know, woman with a man or a man with a woman, opposite sex. Okay.
Or does anybody any sex that you're attracted to?
Like I personally just couldn't take it if you let's say you and your business partner, which he's a friend of mine too, which makes it a lot easier. Like I trust him. He's a brother in arms. He's not airborne. So I'm a little hesitant about him, but you know, he's cool. He was infantry too at some point, you know. Shout out to Nathan. You guys are awesome. And I'm joining their team. So I want to be working, well, we work with each other, but technically for them, you know. But then if you guys
were friends before I met you.
You guys
he introduced us.
Yeah, you know, so like he made it happen, which is awesome. But now if you and him were like wanting to go like on a 4-day getaway together, you know, like
I'm laughing because we're actually we're just taking the team on a team building.
Yeah.
The whole team is going.
Yeah, I'm part of the team. So
yeah.
So I wouldn't, not a fan, you know, just, or if you guys were trying to like go out and get drunk together, not a fan. Sorry, bud, like not happening. Like I'm just not, obviously I can't say it's like
unless
not happening.
There's other people around. It's like a group situation.
Correct.
Like he and I aren't going to go out and just like get wasted on
right.
a Saturday night together. That they were just, but then again, it just goes to like, why would that even be a situation?
Correct.
Like what would be the purpose of needing a lone one-on-one alcohol?
But that's what this conversation is about. You know, we're saying, how do opposite sex friendships work while you're in an intimate relationship with somebody else? So there are ladies out there, there are men out there that have friends of the opposite sex that think that that is okay. And again, I'm not here to judge. Maybe it works out great and they want to go out with that other person and hang out and party it up or do whatever. To me, that's just a little like, I feel safe when you want to like go out with your girls, with your girlfriends. I'm like,
you didn't
cool.
Used to.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I have trust issues, you know, not necessarily with you, but you know, it's something good going on. And I just, you know, I see it. I've seen it happen, you know, and you're an attractive lady, you know, and then I also know what guys do at bars. I mean, let's talk about, you know, that's a whole nother conversation, but people get roofied around here all the time, you know, shit like that occurs. Mm-hmm. You don't pay. And then when you're going out with a bunch of your single girlfriends who are like all about getting all that attention. And then you're just,
I was the DD last time.
You were, you know, you were, but you know, you're out with your single friends who are, their mission is to go out and maybe get laid or meet somebody, which is fine, mm-hmm. you know, because we've all been there ourselves. But then
I just started telling people that you know what?
Yeah,
I'm a man.
Yeah. Which is
I can say I'm tall.
It was a hell of a surgery they did on you. Anything's possible nowadays.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, you can. I mean, technically, I don't want to get into that, but you can technically just identify as a man and be a man. You know,
right.
Like, I don't know, but yeah, that's just, you know, that's a little. It's like going into the Shark's tank. You know, like you're jumping in with the shark, because then you at the bar, there's men who want to, you know, they're seeking out that woman for the night. You know, that fun, and then you're just by yourself with all your girlfriends who are fucking hungry as well. That's just like situations like that could end poorly. especially when then there's alcohol involved. Like, I know you're still capable of making your choices even when drunk. And obviously you and I have never ran into a situation like that, because the minute you start getting drunk, I'm getting text messages every minute. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. You know, I've been to friends' houses on the weekends when you went out with your girlfriends, and like you went out with their wives, and some of them were single, and I'm the only one getting messages throughout the entire night, which I think is great. That's our relationship. It's built on trust. Like, I trust you. Like, if you're going to fuck up, go fuck up. Then it's over. Same thing with you and me. You know, like, if I have to sit back and contemplate and think that you're actually going to do something, then we have an issue, you know, because then I'm not giving you the trust that you've 100% earned.
Yeah,
know?
I also think it's really important, regardless of if you have friends of the opposite sex or not. And I keep saying opposite sex, but you guys know what I mean. Friends that are in the same gender that you're attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
I think whether or not you have those friends, it's really important. And this is, you know, part of my morning routine is a daily check-in with myself on how am I feeling today? What are my goals for the day? Are those in alignment with my vision? And it's just a daily check-in. And if ever there is a point where I start feeling like we are off, or that I'm needing something that you're not providing. And I shouldn't say need, because everything should be desire. Correct. Oh, I like that word. Everything we need comes from ourselves. But sometimes we also desire certain support and emotional balance from our partner, right? And if there's ever a time that I feel that I'm not getting that, I think you're well aware, obviously, that because I'm in tune with that, I catch that pretty quick and I let you know immediately. And it's not always in the most graceful way. Sometimes I'm like, I'm doing everything, and it comes out, but it's still, and you're graceful with me when I do that this morning. But I communicate that.
Correct.
Right? I'm not just keeping it locked up, bottled up, getting resentful, and then going out to a bar.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's
the problem starts at home, not with the other person. The problem starts with yourself, not at a bar.
Yeah, correct.
So I'm all for opposite relationships, so long as there's a commitment and follow through with those check-ins and those communications.
How far are you willing to go with those friendships? So, like I draw, like I mentioned earlier, I draw a line, and I think we're on the same sheet of music with that. Like going out to the bar on a Saturday, and just not because you're frustrated, just because you want to go hang out with that other friend. It's probably not, like, if it's just you and him to go party and hang out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need for a one-on-one.
I mean, yeah, for those of you that do it, that's cool.
Right.
You know, we're not saying it's right or wrong. We're just saying. For
me, like, I would not see what the need would be for a one-on-one pre-planned interaction.
But you're just friends.
Right.
Just like you would pre-plan an interaction with a female friend.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I guess that would be my boundary that I'm not comfortable with.
Same here.
But like, and it's the same with the texting and the calling. So if you are calling her or texting her to decompress and get that emotional support, or if you're going out with her to get that connection, it's because you're not getting it here.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Now,
like I said at the very beginning, an intimate relationship does not require sex. You can cheat on your partner
emotionally. Absolutely.
Because that's what a relationship is, a friendship, right? You care about that other person, you love that other person. Love as in you care. That's you provide them security, you provide them an outlet. And then again, like I said at the very beginning, sharing your issues or your problems, like you and I get into a heated argument, and then now you're texting your male friend, or I'm texting my female friend, which again, I don't really have any. The problems that I'm having with you, that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I've noticed for me, it's harder for me to connect with women a little bit than it is for men. I feel like, I don't know if it's the vulnerability of the feminine energy that I'm not comfortable with, but I'm not that the female energy is all about receiving and being supportive and being a little chaotic, a little wild. I'm obviously okay with that because I'm not structured. But and which is why I have a male business partner, because I don't have that structure and he does. But I have noticed that even just in general with where I'm at in my life, like I'm not staying home with kids. I'm not working part-time and I'm running multiple companies. I am, if the kids are sick, even though you are in the Army actively, I'm still like, hey, like I need help too. My job is just as much of a priority. Yes, I have more flexibility. So I sometimes struggle to connect with women that are my age group, because at least the ones I have met, the majority of them are not in the same place of life that I'm at, I guess. And then the ones that are super busy, just like me. So we just never connect.
Well, I mean, stay-at-home moms are super busy too.
That is correct. That is correct.
That is like, that job in itself is just insane. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
You wouldn't, right? It's just different types of stressors.
Super lonely.
Super lonely. You're talking to kids all day. And then, you know, when your significant other comes home, you want to talk to them because you have literally been having kid conversations all day. And then you want an adult conversation. I mean, that's a whole topic in itself.
But when I say busy, I mean, different parts of the valley, like appointments.
Driving around. Yeah, right. Absolutely. I just wanted to make sure that, because I know you respect stay-at-home moms like crazy. Yeah. Like that's a daunting task.
Yeah, for sure. So that's been my struggle, and probably why I have more friends of the opposite sex than you do.
Yeah. And again, they're like work friends and stuff, you know. So anyway, that was a pretty good conversation. I think you and I are on the same sheet of music. Hey, don't, you know, be careful what you do out there, you know.
Huh?
I said, be careful what you do out there to everybody that's watching, you know, just me personally, I don't require
it. If you're not single and you slide into my DMs, you'll be single soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of you are just brutal. Like really, like brutal.
Anytime I get a D pic, I usually just Google.
That is just horrible. See, I never understand that. Like she's literally had people FaceTime.
Oh yeah.
We had and I don't want to get into all of that, but I think it was like the dude in Chicago or something.
Oh no, those two separate people.
Foot guy, whoever. Like I called the dude's grandfather and like shoot his ass out. You know, but like the fuck you calling women for and showing.
That was two separate.
Who does that?
There was the feet guy that did that, but then there's just like I'll just get random FaceTimes, and sometimes like I don't answer them, right? But sometimes because I work with so many people, a phone number will look similar to a client that I have if I haven't saved their number yet. So I'll answer, and then it's just like right in my face.
Why?
So
that's like sick, and that's like honestly like disturbing.
That's correct. I take an alternative approach though, because some girls are like, "Oh my god," or they just block them or whatever. So I just Google the most disgusting, diseased, horrific looking.
Yeah, that's already too much time and effort put into that.
And then I just flood their phones and send it back until they get disgusted and block me.
Yeah, that's just already too much energy wasted. Block. That's like even, you know, it's just disgusting. Like for you dudes that do that, that's like borderline, like you're making me freaking nervous. There's one person we're going to call the police on already, you know, and we're not going to get into any of that, but like, bro, and it's been quiet for a while. Like, let it go, homie. Like, just stop being gross, bro. Stop being gross. Dudes in general. Y'all are, I don't get it.
Maybe that'll be a good lead into our next weeks. We'll
talk about dick pics?
No. Double standards and how men and women act differently towards each other when they're out, and if there's a level of responsibility that women should take with how they act and dress and present themselves.
That's a good one.
Yeah, next time.
Happy Sunday.
I'm gonna murder you on that episode.